It's no secret that I love a full glam makeup look, but just some days I can't be bothered, whether that's just time constraints or just it's one of those days that I just can't do it. So I thought I'd share what my 5-minute makeup routine would look like. So this is gonna look kind of different for everybody, because what you want to decide when you're doing a very quick makeup look is what is it you're wanting to focus on the most. So I've seen some people say, you know, they want to focus on their brows and covering up any like discoloration, redness, whatever, and kind of evening out the skin tone. Me, myself, and I am not capable of doing my brows on a good day. So that's kind of one of the things where I'm always willing to skip. But for me, the most often, actually the number one thing I want to do is cover up my dark circles, which I wonder if they're popping out too much on camera. I don't think they are, but they're pretty dark today. So that's the main thing I want to cover up. But I also like to kind of even out my skin tone, give it a little bit of a nice wash of color without being too much. And so that's what I like to focus on when doing a 5-minute look. So in a 5-minute look, more than likely you're probably doing this right after you do your skincare and everything. And you really, if you have a good skincare routine, you don't really need to go in with powder. It's been a minute since I did my skincare routine just from this morning. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip it and jump right into concealing my under eyes. While this may seem like a lot of steps, it makes me happy because it actually works. So I color correct with the Caliray under eye brightener, and then I go in with this Rare Beauty. Also, it's a liquid luminizer or something like that. I really like this combination because this helps just kind of correct obviously the discoloration, but then this helps just kind of give it a little bit of brightness. And then I'll go on top with my Tower 28 concealer. Because this is the one thing I'm wanting to focus on, covering up my dark circles and getting those fixed, I'm willing to spend more of my 5 minutes covering up my dark circles. I'm willing to spend my time on covering these up and making them look good. If you are someone who covering up your under eyes, you are just so blessed you don't have very dark circles like myself, then this is obviously a place where you could either just not do anything, or you could just throw something down super quick and move on with your day. Honestly, you could probably convince me just to stop right here because I think that covered it up really well. And I think if I was just running a few errands and I just kind of wanted my under eyes concealed, I would stop here. However, I'm not going to, because I just kind of want the rest of my face to just look a little more cohesive. On quick days, I like to go in with this Lancome. It's this dual finish multitasking powder. I really like to go in with this because I just find a powder to be a little bit easier to work with when you're needing to move quickly. I really like this, and I like using this brush just because I can just kind of swirl it on, and this matches my skin so well, and I can kind of be a little more haphazard with it. Now, I know it's probably picking up on camera. My face is like a billion different colors. I'm aware of this. And no matter what I do, no matter how good of a match my foundation is for my skin, there's always some kind of discoloration. And like, I'll bring it down my neck no matter what. It's just a mess, and I've kind of learned to accept it at this point. So we're just going to accept it. So again, that wasn't talking, that would maybe take like 10 seconds just to kind of brush around. I like this because I feel like everything's a little more even. I don't think there's as many oils peeking through. It just feels a little bit better. So I probably could have just set my under eyes with the Lancome powder that I was using. I just find that my Kosas powder works a little bit better for setting under my eyes than my Lancome does. This is where I would just do a quick little bronzer blush moment. Now, my favorite bronzer is this Dior bronzer. Have it in the shade 30 Tan Matte. It looks dark on the pan. It looks so good on my skin, and it looks just so neutral and natural, and so I really love that. And usually that's the bronzer I'm gonna go with. Today though, I'm gonna go in with these Blursh pods from Made by Mitchell. Again, pick and choose what you want to do. Like, so for me, I want to add some extra color and just look a little bit alive. If this is enough for you and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, go. And there have been times where if I don't really care about having like an even wash of color on my face, I'll just put on a cream blush that can double as a bronzer and call it a day. When I do that, it'll be this MAC Glow Play blush in Blush Please. It is the perfect shade of just like being a bronzer. So if I just want to kind of conceal my under eyes, put on like a bronzer and go, this is what I'll do, like when I'm really in a hurry. But if I have some extra time, like I do in this theoretical 5 minutes, I'm gonna go in with, it's this shade in the shade Bake Off. I think it's just a lovely little, it's a nice shade that also works as a bronzer. Kind of putting up here, I like to use this as a topper as well, and just kind of drag it down a little bit. It gives a nice little extra color without trying too hard. Like, I don't feel overly makeup-y with this, and you might disagree, and that's okay. Then this is the shade Vanilla Sponge. I love this. This is probably my favorite shade. I'm gonna take the other end of this brush. I just like to use it as a little more traditional blush. I always get compliments when I wear this, and I just think it looks really good and just gives your makeup a little something something, you know? Quick, easy little extra color to your skin without doing way too much, and both of those are products you can just easily swipe on and call it a day. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is throw on some mascara. Ilia is usually my ride or die, but for this kind of look where it's pretty minimal, I'm just gonna go in with this Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. It's a brown shade, and I just kind of think when you're doing like a really low-key look, sometimes, at least on me, sometimes brown mascara can look a little bit better. I kind of covered up some of the discoloration on my eyelids by just taking the concealer and like the color corrector, whatever's left over on my brush as I was blending it out and kind of covering up my eyelids. And you can go in, I mean, you probably should go in instead of the setting spray. I've been using this Revolution Hydrate and Fix setting spray. I don't love it, but I am gonna finish using it up. And this is the finished look. I think my camera on my phone, like, this does not look as not, like, it looks much more blended out and it looks much more seamless than it's looking on my phone. So please just trust. But like this, it doesn't even look like I really have makeup on. Just look a little more put together. I look a little more seamless. I look less oily and things like that. So that's what I like to do in a quick little 5 minutes. If I'm really pressed for time, and it's like I need to be out the door like 10 minutes ago, that's when I'll just do a cream blush as like a bronzer. I'll do a quick little color correction under my eye and throw on some mascara, and then I'll call it a day. So that is my quick little 5-minute makeup routine. Again, it's just whatever you're trying to achieve. Like, what is most important to you? For some people, it's probably defining their brows, covering up dark circles, discoloration, and calling it a day. For me, it really is like covering up the dark circles, even complexion, maybe throwing on some color, but really it's just what is it you're trying to accomplish. Make sure you have time to accomplish those. Other than that, I hope that this was somewhat informative, if not just kind of something to put on in the background and kind of listen to as you're doing other things. I would love to hear what kind of content you want to see in the future. Let me know down below. I'd love to kind of curate some videos to your own preferences, but thank you for tagging along today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.